Hey everybody, this is Eric Johnson. This ought to be pretty cool today. I'm excited to read some emails that are being shared by someone we've agreed to call Colorado Searcher. She is someone that communicated with Fenn a lot, as far as I can tell. Communicated with him up until his last days. And surprisingly to me, I was part of the conversation between him and her, Forrest and Colorado Searcher, at the very end, up to about a week before he died. So that was very, I don't know, it was kind of a surprise. And I had talked about this in a couple of comments previous, and someone had said, well, how do you know they're not fakes? The emails he meant. I looked at them. I mean, I don't know. I don't have someone working for me in IT that can check it out, but she assures me they're real. They look very real. The conversation is nothing explosive. I mean, he's just commenting in a very general way about me. So it all looks very real. I'm not worried about that at all. Fenn talked to a lot of people. I mean, I've talked to people that talked with Forrest on the phone, emailed him. It's not the most incredible thing in the world that people communicated with Forrest. And so that's going to be the crux of what we have to say today, or I have to say today. Except that some other stuff that Colorado Searcher also communicated some other things with Fenn that I found interesting. And in general, I think it's going to be a pretty informative day. There's one theory that Colorado Searcher has about the omegas I think is interesting. It reminds us of what the omegas mean. Anyway, we'll get into that later. So, this person is a viewer that knows me through my videos. Her name, we're calling her Colorado Searcher. Like I said, she communicated a lot with Fenn before he died. I don't think she ever met him personally. But she watched my videos and she talked about the videos with Forrest Fenn about a week or two before he died, and that'll be part of what we talk about. Now, the first email that and of course, when she asked me, she said, are you interested in seeing some emails about when Forrest Fenn talks about you? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. Sure. Why not? Again, folks, I don't dislike Forrest Fenn. Let's get that concept right out of here. I think the end is very strange, okay? The end of the finder, the relationship between the Fenn family and the finder, I find very odd. I feel like the finder and the Fenn family are not close at all. We're going to cover this in my next video. My next video has because of a little bit of information I have, and just reading all the blogs and the vlogs, I have an idea about what's going on with the family and with Forrest, what's going on with Forrest and the finder and the family now. So that'll be coming up. And I think you'll find it very interesting. It might give us a little bit of a clue as to why some things seem strange. It might explain why they would seem strange. And so that's coming up. Like I said, I've been saying lately, good idea to subscribe because you will get notifications, and because not only of Forrest Fenn but other subjects. But right now, Forrest Fenn is still a very viable subject as far as I'm concerned. The end, I think, is as strange and mysterious as the chase ever was. So, more stuff to come in the future. Okay, so let's get into it. This is Colorado Searcher. These are emails that she had with Forrest Fenn. I'll give you the dates of them. Excuse me. The first one goes way back. The first one goes all the way back to January 12th of 2018. Forrest Fenn is communicating with another person, one of his inner circle. Okay? The inner circle person communicates to Fenn. Happy New Year's, etc. I just wanted to let you know that as of this moment, Nightline is planning to air the story we shot back in November. Things could change throughout the day depending on developing news, but that is the plan as of now. Planning to air the story we shot with you, Forrest, back in November tonight. So someone has told Forrest Fenn that the Nightline story that they shot back in November is about to be shown in January, on January 12th. And Forrest Fenn shared this information with Colorado Searcher. Colorado Searcher was quite amazed by this because she did not think that she just didn't think she had a close enough relationship or whatever you want to call it with Forrest Fenn that he would share out this kind of inner circle information, if you will. That, like, hey, by the way, just found out from so-and-so that they're going to show that show tonight. So she said, thanks for sharing, Forrest. I hope to watch it. But I can tell you from the emails I've gotten from her, she was very taken with the fact that he thought of her when he was told that the Nightline story was going to come out. And that meant a lot to her. All right. This is June 28th, so we're getting up there into summer now. This is this June 28th. And Colorado Searcher says to Forrest, well, first I should say, Colorado Searcher, her solve has to do with The Dark Tower by Stephen King, the Dark Tower series, I believe. I've never read it. I told her, she sent me some of her solve. I told her I didn't personally think that was the solve because, of course, I had my own solve. So I think my solve is the solve. But nonetheless, she had her own solve. She communicates it to Forrest with emails. She says, in conclusion, Roland's quest ends where it begins, near Brown's hut. In order to break the never-ending cycle, the hero has to retrieve the dropped horn on Jericho Hill to complete your quest. I think when she says your quest, she means your quest, Forrest. The hero has to retrieve the dropped horn on Jericho Hill to complete your quest. She then asked Forrest, should I post my full detailed solve on Dale's blog, leaving out the funny solve, of course, or should I keep it private just between us? Forrest says, I think you should keep it private. Now, Colorado Searcher asked me what I thought about that. She said, why do you think Forrest Fenn would tell me not to post my solve? I have no idea, of course, but I will say this. I have learned from communicating with other people that Forrest Fenn was just like the rest of us. He was a person who had, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, for instance, I think Forrest would test people. I think Forrest would sometimes say yes or no just to see what your reaction was. I think Forrest would sometimes say yes or no just to see if you wouldn't follow his advice. I think Forrest was one of those people that by telling you things, or as we know, the old thing with leaving out, misspelling things or making a mistake on purpose. Wasn't that something he learned from the Indians when he was staying with some Indians, and they would I'm going to getting off track, but they would say things wrong just to see if he caught it. But anyway, when he says don't do something, maybe Forrest is expecting to say, well, hell no, I really believe in this solve, so I'm going to post it. And then he might have said, well, good for you, if you really think it's true. You just don't know. So I just told her, I said, I don't know. I don't know why he wouldn't want you to post it. Folks, this is a big one. This is a big one from Colorado Searcher to Forrest Fenn. This is July 21st, 2020. An email from Colorado searcher to Forrest Fenn. Some people are still guessing why you put that stick in the chest. Am I the only one who believes the finder has a weird sense of humor and added it himself to watch people speculate why you, Forrest, would put a stick in the chest? Does anyone think on the same wavelength as me? Do you, Forrest? I'm adding the Forrest for emphasis. So she is saying, what's with that stick on top of the chest? I don't think you put it in there, Forrest. I think the finder put it in there, and I think he's got a weird sense of humor, and he just wants to mess with people, basically. She says, what do you think about that, Forrest? Am I right? And he says, Forrest says, I share all of your opinions, especially the one about the stick. So that I believe very much to be true, and I think it tells us something about the finder. Either way, I do believe there's a finder, but my next video is going to give you an idea of what I think. Not who the finder is, but how the find might have come up. Not who the finder is and not the location, but how I think the find might have occurred. So anyway, I thought that was very, very interesting about the stick. Okay, this is cool. All right, here is the first email where Colorado Searcher actually talks about yours truly. And I have to say, this is such small, minute stuff compared to other people who would talk with Fenn and they would call Fenn and visit his house and all those things. And again, I want to stress something very clearly. I don't dislike Forrest Fenn. I really dislike the way this ended. Even if Forrest had it retrieved, which I don't believe now, I've already moved on. Folks, I'm constantly changing my mind as I get information. I don't dislike Forrest Fenn. I thought Forrest Fenn, as he will call me, was quite a character. That's how I'll put it. He was quite a character. And I think he did mislead us on things. And, you know, someone said something funny one day. I was watching a video and someone said, well, you know, Forrest never made any money on this. So, I mean, you can't hold that against him. The books never made any money for Forrest. Well, the first book did make money for his grandkids, a trust fund, right? And if you're saying, oh, Eric, why you bring... Because those are his grandkids. I don't have a problem with that, you understand. But if you're doing any sort of an enterprise where you make money for someone in your family, that is no different than you gifting them that money, which is something Forrest probably would do and probably has done numerous times with his own grandkids. But I'm just saying, let's not pretend like he never made any money, because you could argue that is kind of making money if the money you make is going to your family. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying let's not pretend like none of the money ever went to the Fenn family. It's a little thing. Because I just watched this video where this person made such a big thing out of Fenn never made any money off the books. All right, here we go. This is quite touching for me. This is Colorado Searcher talking to Forrest Fenn about me. And this is the first sheet, very redacted stuff. She doesn't want her identity known. I don't think it'd be the end of the world, quite frankly, if people found out who she is, but she just, right now, doesn't care for that. And there's a lot of redactions with things she has said, maybe not favorable to me, who knows? So this is what the first thing she allows me to see that she said to Fenn is. Blank about you. It's not bad if you can be patient while he talks about his cat. The part about you playing God is wrong, though. I think you wanted to see if anyone. So something about you, Forrest. It's not bad if you can be patient while he talks about his cat. The part about you playing God is wrong, though. I think you wanted to see if anyone. Apparently, Fenn has asked her something about perhaps people out there in video land, and she thought of me, because she ends up by, she redacts it after she says, "I think you wanted to see if anyone," redaction, and she sent me to Fenn. So this is on August 6th, right? August 6th is the publication date of Another Side of Fenn. Possibly the most critical, nasty videos I've ever made about Forrest Fenn. 5-part series. This has to be the time in which Forrest Fenn is introduced to me. The most critical the most critical videos I've ever made of him. And this is his introduction to Eric Johnson. Another Side of Fenn was published on August 6th. So Fenn writes at 8:21 p.m. I just watched all 5 of that guy's videos. He's a real character. You don't have his name or email address, do you? Thanks for keeping me up to speed on those things. I wouldn't see any of them if it were not for you. You are a good friend. I think he just watched Another Side of Fenn. Probably the last thing I'd send him personally, and that's the first thing I think he ever saw. Then on August 16th, he asked Colorado Searcher. I guess he's either rewatched that or watched some more things. He says to he asked Colorado Searcher on August 16th this year, "Can you send me a link to Eric's next presentation? He is the best of those guys who are against me." So that's, again, not something I would ever in a million years think I would be, is the best of the guys against Forrest Fenn. According to Forrest Fenn. I mean, it never even crossed my mind. On August 30th, Colorado Searcher says to Forrest, "Forrest, I don't believe you retrieved the treasure yourself or told anyone else to retrieve it for you to call up the hunt." And then she redacts a bunch of stuff. And then she says, part 1. Now, I was not able to follow that link she gives. But I did put out a video series on August 30th, the day that they're writing back and forth. So I think she must have sent him the first of my Forrest, wouldn't you know it, the second most critical of Forrest Fenn videos I ever did. Fenn conspiracy theories. And these are even more problematic because these are like I'm just spinning out things people are saying about Forrest Fenn. And so that gets to be the second series he watches of me. Great. Fenn Conspiracy Theories, published on August 30th. So on August 30th, I think she has just sent him part 1, and he says, "That new video didn't have much substance," and Eric, well, of course not, because that was my conspiracy theory stuff. "The new video didn't have much substance, and Eric was not really his entertaining self. Maybe next time he will be better." Okay. "Thanks for sending me the link. I need you, F." I think that Forrest Fenn feels Colorado Searcher is very valuable in that she is apparently giving him information about the Chase community that he values. I think she must have a knack for finding the stuff that he's interested in looking at. I have a very small little channel here. Oops. Going on to part 2. Remember that everything has been published at one time. So if part 1 is out, part 2 is already out. If it's not coming up on your auto rotation, go look for it in Google search. Just put in the title without the part number and you'll find it, I'm sure.